Hey, morning. It's your host here today, and today we're going to talk about the NFT royalty battle that is currently just blowing up Twitter with OpenSea's recent announcements. You kind of see a little bit of a meme going on there. In case you're not familiar, NFTs or non-fungible tokens are digital assets that are unique and verifiable on the blockchain. They've exploded in popularity in the last little bit over the past year or two, with some NFTs selling for millions of dollars. If you're confused a little bit about the NFT marketplace, I do have a bunch of videos. I can link them in the it'll be up here, I think it is. And if you want, there's a bunch more in my videos as well. I can put a link in the description below. But let's just get into the most recent update on what's going on with OpenSea. Before we jump into some of the details on this, there's a bunch of threads out there, and this one in particular that kind of shows what is going on. We're going to jump into that in here just a minute, but I wanted to give a little bit of oversight into what we're looking at. If you're not familiar with what just happened with Blur has been doing some airdrop token airdrops farming in the last little bit, and you can see this is their token that they dropped, and it's they dropped 360 million tokens of these, and they're at $1.20 right now. And they sent that all out to all the creators and all of the people that were using the Blur marketplace. Ultimately, we call this a vampiric attack. It's nothing new. LooksRare did it to the people that had volume on OpenSea back in about a year ago. X2Y2 did it the same thing. So it's nothing new, but it does take away volume from OpenSea. So careful. But one of the big issues that has arisen with the NFT marketplace is how creators of NFTs are compensated. Currently, many NFT platforms and marketplaces such as OpenSea and Nifty Gateway, X2Y2, everybody else, charge a fee to creators every time their NFT is resold on the secondary market. This fee, called a royalty, or maybe Frank D. God's here saying we should rename royalties to tips. All right. And the royalty is usually a percentage of the sales price, and it can be set by the creator of the platform. Listen, nothing groundbreaking here, but we're going to get into it. There's going to be some meat coming here to the story. Now, there's been some rumors that some of the prominent people, such as Beeple up here, you can see this is his art, who sold an NFT for a record-breaking $69 million, and I think it was March 2021, I believe it was. He's particularly against NFT royalties, saying that it's completely against the idea of digital ownership. Yeah, it must be nice if you made $69 million. He is a legend in the space, don't get me wrong. But on the other hand, some supporters of NFT royalties argue that it is essential for creators to continue making a living on their work, especially since NFTs continue to appreciate value over time. The 1% do. 99 going to 0. Some of the takes on here, some of this membership NFTs are dead now. So lots of times you need these NFTs to get into a Discord, and lots of these are alpha. So these alpha communities will all move to subscription models. Great. All those NFTs are about to get in, probably going to 0. But what are the details on the royalty discussion? It's typically OpenSea receives 2.5% fee on all secondary sales. OpenSea is dropping it to 0%. I mean, that's a big win. However, minimum creator earnings will be at 0.5%. So a lot of NFT projects, around that between 3 to 10%, 10% being pretty high, and that's the revenue model. Unfortunately, that's the way that some of these projects keep sustaining value and adding value to their holders. And of course, the memes are always coming out. So here's one. This is OpenSea headquarters today. How our market share is falling fast? How can we help our users be happy? Remove fees. User interface update. Drop a token. You're gone. Tokens are dropped like this, right? So they basically have, as OpenSea collects a 2.5% fee on all sales, basically this will be OpenSea over here, I believe, or this will be an NFT buyer, this will be OpenSea, and you'll see people buying, and the royalties will go over there. But with that kind of stuff you see here, that extra money from the royalties typically on an airdrop token gets kind of set aside, and that upside goes over here. And then all of a sudden, once you want to do the airdrop, all that money that was accumulated from the royalties then are distributed to the holders. Similar to what we have here with the Blur, right? That's how Blur did it. It's also how LooksRare did it. LooksRare was a little bit different because then you could stake for a crazy amount of time, and then all the royalties that LooksRare was getting was actually coming back to the holders for a certain amount of time. This is the LooksRare token kind of set at the beginning. So at the beginning, everyone was getting hyped because everyone was getting 1,000 APY percentage, so a bunch of returns. And then slowly, as the royalties dropped, So they would say, okay, you're going to get 1,000% of all blah, 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 and then which is a big chunk of the royalties, and they get smaller and smaller as you go on, and you can see what happens with it, right? It's not a really sustainable model, but it does offer a quick bang for the buck. The problem here is that Luxor's interface was no better than OpenSea's. So they didn't have any really technical advantage over that. Where Blur advantages over OpenSea, I mean, I'll show you. I mean, let's look at it. You go through this. Everything is quick. You click on something. Everything's open. There's no waiting. Everything's there. Just clicked on some pretty big ones. Then you go to OpenSea, and it's just like, okay, let's go to Azuki. Click. Here, waiting. That's a little bit better, to be honest, but it's still kind of like, oh, going back. Let's go to Doodles. Waiting. You know, OpenSea is called Broken Seas for a reason. Everybody always says, like, okay, we know we're back because OpenSea is going down again. Yeah. It's just how it is. But I want to jump into NFT statistics here. He puts it in very good perspective. He says, this was a quick thought on OpenSea's move. This was necessary for them. They had 10% share in most of the big collections. No chance at success. Zero. So, like, you know, this they didn't do this themselves. The market decided. If you look at this, I wonder if I can get this in here. Let me get this a little bit better here for you. We get in, well, not that one. We got this guy here. And then I'll just do a quick zoom in, but you can see that the OpenSea is at 10% share on these huge projects. So you can see Blur has, look at all the volume compared to this. It's not even close. It's 10%. That's a lot of volume leaving the OpenSea system. And as he says here, this is not the move OpenSea wanted to make, but I think that they were forced to look at this chart. So you can see kind of past 1 day market share category. So look at this. Oh, the big pie is Blur. Ultimately, Blur made it very clear that in their comms yesterday that they wanted OpenSea to make this move. Clearly, they were the big player in the room who had impact. You can see some of the differences. I'll link that into the description before, and you'll see that the NFT Statistics has a pretty good podcast there. There's a couple crazy stuff here. So this guy is calling poop shakes. He's calling out Zeneca. I guess he has some stuff, an NFT collection, and it's restricted on Blur. Basically said they're restricted because of the rules OpenSea they had in place. So like all new collections, basically we had to choose between OpenSea and Blur, and we initially choose OpenSea for various reasons. And the actual order of events. So we launched with all marketplace except OpenSea blocked. We unblocked Blur. OpenSea immediately moved our royalties to 0. We blocked Blur. Royalties again enforced on OpenSea. So now all of a sudden, now OpenSea is changing their policy and is now to 0.5. More and more stats. You know, we kind of ended on this one here, but you're looking at it like the Blur volume is ridiculous. It's this orange compared to the pink, which is OpenSea. You can see OpenSea is a pretty big player up there. But then all of a sudden, you know, during the end here, they've come down. And it's Blur doing their airdrop, doing a little bit of a vampiric attack, dropping a token, but maintaining market share because they have a technically sound and it's a service people want to use more than OpenSea. It's way better. So, you know, it's a tough thing for a lot of people, but unfortunately, a lot of people do say that it is a race to 0, and there's not much you can really do about that. There's other ways. Maybe they're talking about I don't know. There's a whole bunch of things. Maybe you can do an ERC20 token where you decide what the tax is, which is a royalty, instead of NFT collection. So it does. I don't know. Something's gonna come from this. You know, the ingenuity of humans never cease to amaze me. But here, and that's where we are. Hope you have a great day. If you like this, hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate it. Have a good day.